Please welcome Kamala Harris. So welcome to... Hello! Madam Vice President, hello.
Madam Vice President Harris getting the Oprah treatment tonight as she joined the queen of daytime talk shows for a live stream campaign event meant to be part rally, part town hall, with a whole dash of Oprah sprinkled throughout. The Harris campaign hoped tonight's Unite for America event in the suburbs of Detroit would have the same impact of an Oprah episode. Intimate, but informal. Even the set invoked motions and memories of the iconic show, a mix of politics and personal stories. And Harris showed some surprising glimpses of that tonight, like when she talked about gun ownership.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Liam, Donovan, and Karen Finney are back with me. And Karen is the co-founder of the group Win with Black Women, which organized tonight's Oprah Harris event. Let me start with you. I wonder, do you think if the goal was to see a separate side of Vice President Kamala Harris, with all of the criticism about not having accessibility for interviews, this is the creme de la creme of interviews, many would say, do you think that answers like that showed the type of side of her that will widen the tent?
I do, actually, and a couple, and not just because I'm part of Win with Black Women, but because in addition to that moment, there was also a moment where she was talking with different Americans from different parts of the country about the issues and the challenges they're facing. In this instance, she had talked to a young woman who was shot herself in the most recent school shooting, and she was there with her mother and her father. And her mother talked about the trauma of not being able to reach her daughter on her cell phone when she had heard there had been a shooting at the school. And so part of what I think was so powerful about it, they touched on a number of different issues. They made them very personal and real by telling people's personal stories. She then had conversations with them about her policies and how that would fit into addressing these different issues. I think that's very effective. That's part of why the campaign, I think, is choosing to do more of that than direct interviews, because they're wanting to spend as much time as possible directly having conversations with voters and having voters have an opportunity both to hear Kamala Harris's vision, but also get to know a little bit more about her.
And Liam, there was a particularly personal moment, and many would look at what could be more personal than a story about one's bodily autonomy, reproductive rights, their family planning. And one of the guests was the family of a woman named Amber Thurman. And she is a woman who died in Georgia, where there is a 6-week abortion ban, as you all know. And she suffered a rare complication when she was taking abortion pills and died after waiting 20 hours for surgery. Now, her mother was there tonight. Listen to what she had to say.
I wanted to go through in silence, but I realized that it was selfish. I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family.
And the courage that you all have shown is extraordinary. Amber's mom shared with me that the word over and over again in her mind is preventable.
Liam, women voters extraordinarily coveted as a, non-monolith, but an incredibly powerful demographic more broadly. Voters look for moments to understand who a candidate is and how they react. What does a reaction like that do in terms of women voters?
Well, I think just thinking back to the debate, her strongest moment and where that authenticity showed through, her single strongest answer was on that abortion question. So I think when you're in a situation like this, where, this is an incredible stagecraft, they really rebooted the Oprah show, but the risk is it comes off as synthetic. So having powerful moments like this, that's what good TV is. I think they got what they wanted out of this, and clearly it was playing to the audience, both the Women with Black Women element, the Oprah audience. This was sort of right in the sweet spot of what they were looking to do. Obviously, she
How
needs
about
to
with
build.
men? I was going to ask you that question. Because
Well, I think-
obviously, Oprah is universally lauded for her skill and her charisma as an interviewer and beyond. But the Oprah audience had largely been at some point suburban women.
Yeah.
Men also obviously fans of the show, but did this go enough to appeal to men as well?
I don't think it was meant to. I mean, this accomplished what it set out to do. I think this is a campaign coming out of the debate that feels confident, but they don't want to take big risks. They like the way the polling is going. They're playing it safe. This is safe. It's savvy. I don't know that it's sufficient, and it goes to that question that you raised, which is, what about men? They're trying to build a firewall with women. They know that's going to be their sweet spot. You have to be able to do both, and I think the question is, as she builds her comfort level, because that was the key that came through here. She was comfortable there, in part because it's a safe audience. You don't have an interviewer that's trying to get a gotcha. But I think at a certain point, it makes sense for the campaign to turn her loose a bit, because she's getting good at this. And with people that just need to see more, I think seeing her in an environment where she can sort of be herself is all positive.
Yeah, I really love the town hall format. I didn't realize they were going to do that. And again, it's about how do you bring policy into day-to-day life. I think that's critically important. The other thing, though, that I would say is, when you do these kinds of things, when you're dealing with very intense emotions, it is a little risky. I mean, there were a couple moments where it could have gone a couple of different ways because the individuals, the stories they were telling were so gut-wrenching that you kind of just had to sit there with their pain for a minute, for a beat or two. That is something Oprah is brilliant at, and the vice president was brilliant at just letting them have that feeling and have that moment. And I think that's also very powerful.
Well, town hall settings are one that I think a lot of voters look to as the unscripted nature, and they can get a better feel for the candidate. We'll see if there's opportunities in the future for both Trump and Harris to do the same. Liam, Karen, thank you both.